Hello guys, so welcome to KO Tutorials. So here I am coming up with one more tutorial on working with modifiers. So as you can see over here, we have started with the modifiers. We have started with three parts over here. So we'll be continuing with the fourth part over here. So the other modifier which you are going through right now, that would be a lattice modifier. So how lattice modifier works is like, so lattice can be used to create a lot of things like for creation of net kind of material. So let's take a small example over here. So for example, if I take a sphere over here, let's just squeeze this sphere over here and let's make this angle as 90 degree, push this up over here, and let's give a lattice modifier. So once you give a lattice modifier, into this lattice modifier you have an option over here first, that is called struts. So if you reduce the struts, you see that this part is getting much more thinner. So let's keep the struts radius as 0.5. Let's go down and make the joints as 0. So as you can see over here, it has become a kind of a net material. So for example, if you are creating a kind of a fan or something, for that you can easily use this modifier over here. This is just an example. For this modifier, you can create a lot of things with this. So let's take one more example. For example, if I am taking a box over here, so for stall designing, stage designing, so let's increase its height segments over here, and let's again give a lattice modifier. Into that, let's reduce this joints over here, and over here what I'll be doing is like I'll reduce this segments. I'll reduce this segments. I'll make this also 1 and into the lattice you have segments. You can increase the quality of this, you can increase this, and you have one more option called ignore hidden edges. So if you off this, you can see that you can create such kind of a stuff over here using this modifier. So once you are done with this, now what I can do over here is like, if I go into this and if I give a bend modifier with it, I can easily use a bend modifier also with it. So I can easily use this bend modifier over here, and I can mirror it. I can make a copy of it. I can do such stuff easily over here for creation of this stuff like this. You can see this. So you can create such stuff with the help of a lattice modifier. So lattice modifier is very beneficial over here. So let's go through another modifier over here, that is your wave modifier. First we'll go with the wave modifier. So how wave modifier works is like, wave can be used for many things. So for example, you have this plane. Let's give the segments as 10 by 10, and let's give a wave modifier. Wave can be used for water wave, also can be used for many other things. Let's go through it. First is your amplitude 1. You can increase its amplitude 1. So let's set the same amplitude to amplitude 2 also. So once you give this same amplitude, you see that it's giving you some kind of a wavy effect. Wavelength. So if you want to increase this wavelength, you can increase its wavelength. Also, you can use this phase over here. You can also use this decay. Again, I'll go into this and I'll increase the segments. So if I increase its more length segments, you will see that you can easily use this for any kind of a rooftop also. You can utilize such stuff for that. So again, you can go into this wave, and if you want it more, you can just copy that. And again, if you go into this plane and if you increase it more, the segments will be more. And now I can again give one more modifier, that's called a shell modifier. As we have seen earlier, shell modifier will give you thickness. You can use this as a thickness over here. You can slightly just push this up, and you can slightly push it behind like this. So for example, I'll just give another color to it. So you can utilize it in this way. That can be utilized easily in this way. So again, I'll go into this and I can slightly rotate it. If you want to rotate it, you can slightly rotate it in this way, and you can again make a copy of it. This is just an example over here. So for such kind of stuff, definitely we are going to utilize this modifier that's called a wave modifier, and for the thickness I have definitely used a shell modifier over here. So now let's go with another modifier over here, that's called a ripple modifier. So let's see how ripple modifier works over here. So ripple modifier can be used for a kind of a water ripple. If you want to go with a water ripple over here, I can again go into this and I can take a ripple over here. You can see I can use this amplitude 1, amplitude 2, and you have a wavelength. You can use it for such kind of stuff. Ripple can be easily used, and also if you want to animate such kind of a stuff that can be animated easily, you can just activate this auto key option over here. Set the key. This is your keyframes over here. Let's go to the 100 frame. So this is just a default 100 frame. You can increase it by going into time configuration, and you can set it to 25 fps. So definitely whatever animation we do over here, that's on 25 frames per second. You can increase that or you can decrease that to 25, and let's set the end time, that's the frame. So 300 frames, and I want that it should animate in this way. So now if you look at it, you will see that whenever you will play it, you will see the animation over here. See this, it's definitely going slow because the timing is more. So once you reduce this keyframe over here, and now if you play it, you will see that the animation will be much more faster. So ultimately this ripple modifier is going to work in this way. Phase decay, that can also be adjusted accordingly. In whatever ways you want, you can do that. That's it. See this. I won't save this file over here. The next modifier over here we have, that is your symmetry modifier. How symmetry modifier works over here is like, symmetry is very close to mirror. So as you know that, for example, if I have an object over here, and example I convert to editable poly, if I go into this vertices and I slightly push it up, and if I want to mirror it in x-axis, I can easily mirror it, and I make a copy of it, and that's called mirror. So what is the difference between mirror and symmetry? I'll explain you that. So let's again take the same object over here. Now instead of taking a mirror, I'll go into the modifier and I'll take a symmetry modifier. Symmetry is something like we can say a body is symmetrical from both the sides. It's same, right? That's what. So let's go into symmetry, go into the mirror, let's go into the x-axis, let's just flip it, let's just push it away. So what's the difference between mirror and symmetry? That is, let me explain you. If I go into the editable poly, if I go into the vertices, if I on this, and if I make any changes on one side, it's going to affect on the other side. So even if you select one vertices and you push it upside down, so where it can be used for creating some kind of shapes which are very symmetrical. Like for example, you are creating a character, human character, for that symmetrical can be used. If you are creating a car, for that symmetrical shapes can be used. So you don't have to create on the other side. Definitely it is going to be automatically it will take. So for example, if I go over here and if I add one loop over here and I add one loop over here, again if I go into this edge and if I select it and if I move it, you will see that it is going to affect on the other side also. So it's a very good modifier. So symmetry, if you off it, it is going to work only on the one side. And on the other hand, if you are going with the mirror, it's not going to work. It's only going to work with this symmetry part. So guys, if you have any doubts, please write it in the comment section over here. So please like and subscribe my YouTube channel. So the rest of the modifiers will be continuing in the next tutorial. So thanks for watching this tutorial.